The world tells you to set goals. Your teachers tell you to set goals. Your parents, your friends tell you to set goals. But today, let me ask you to stop looking at your goals, at least for a few minutes. Alright, let's rewind back from 2012 to this year, 2022, the last 10 years. How many goals or big outcomes have you achieved? How many of them were exactly what you were looking for or ended up exactly how you planned? And how many of them were truly satisfying? So today I would like to talk about something that you seldom hear, something insignificant that people don't really talk about. Small progress. In a simpler way, it's all about breaking the bigger things down to smaller things so that you can see yourself moving forward in a constant manner. Life is a very long journey for most of us, so that's why we need achievements and goals, all these big outcomes in order to make life more fulfilling, more meaningful, right? But most big goals are also long journeys. Let's say, oh, I want to win a Grammy Award. Long journey. Oh, I want to be Justin Bieber's all-time music producer. It's a long journey. Oh, I want to be a guitar god. It's a long journey. A big-time YouTube star with 10 million subs. Long journey. Before we question all the possibilities, how long does one of these take until you can check that box? 5 years, 10 years, or more? Okay, maybe those were a bit too much. Okay, let's talk about something slightly smaller, like, oh, I want to be a film composer working on blockbuster film. Not a short journey either. Sometimes things take a little bit too long and you begin to lose heart, you begin to lose sight of hope, and you feel disappointed. After readjusting your plans and expectation more than a few times, you begin to lose sight of perspective too. And therefore, it is so important to break things down into smaller progress, like making a checklist for all the small things in a monthly or weekly or even daily basis. By doing so, you are able to see yourself growing from one point to the next in a very objective way. So practically speaking, instead of going around pitching, trying very hard to land on a blockbuster film project, try land on a short film or a TV series. If you can't get a commercial project, especially when you are starting out, try to get some non-profit projects or even student projects as a start. Because if you're just starting out, most probably you don't even know if you can handle a big commercial project or not. So the point here is to set some achievable goals and a bunch of smaller progress rather than one big outcome. You could even set some smaller regular progress, like doing one simple composition every week and one show reel every month, and perhaps release them on YouTube or SoundCloud. And so in 6 months' time, you would already have a huge catalog. Even on daily basis, it could be like getting one piano track done, or make a beat, or explore some new sound from your sample libraries and jam with it, have fun with it. And so the point here is, instead of checking one box per year or after a few years, break it down so that you could check one box per day or per week. By seeing yourself grow daily or weekly and progress consistently, you will stay motivated and your confidence will grow as well. And that is the reason why I produce Resonate, because I didn't want to start off my solo career with something too difficult or too heavy. I needed something simpler to refresh myself, to regain my confidence, and to let making music be fun again. I needed to do something that I could complete in a shorter time so that I could see myself objectively grow from one point to the next. Another important reason why you should acknowledge and focus on progress rather than outcome is because, believe it or not, sometimes the progress are more fulfilling than the final outcomes or the goal itself. I'm saying all this from my very own experience after exploring every corner of the music industry. It's almost like in your vacation, you and your family or your friends were so excited about a certain destination. You guys took all the trouble to get there. But once you were there, you were like, are we at the right place? Did we take the wrong train or what? The highly anticipated destination were unexpectedly uninteresting, and you felt cheated by all the images from the internet or the travel guide. I want my refund. Have you ever had such experience? Well, let me tell you a story. It's about an esport event that I involved. It's called WESG Southeast Asia. So me and my company were engaged to produce a theme song and animated MV, as well as the grand opening of the event. And in the grand opening, we did some sci-fi concept dance performance combined with some fancy light shows. It was quite a unique opportunity. We thought it could open up the entire esport world to us. So like any other big project, it took us almost one whole year, pitching ideas, sorting, preparing, rehearsing, producing, and also marketing. The entire journey was very fulfilling because most things progressed as planned, and everybody worked hard and were very supportive. But towards the final days, things began to fall apart. There were conflicts of interest between various parties. But I thought to myself, it's okay, as long as the final outcome looks good, I could forget about the rest. But no matter how careful we planned, there was a miscommunication with the camera team. The live stream was to be filmed and perceived the way people witnessed on the spot live. There were specific angles and distance the shot needs to be taken in order to feel and experience the full effect. So what happened during the show was that there was a cameraman, quite a big, tall dude with all the big cameras and all the gadgets around him, went up to the stage in the middle of the dance performance to take some close-up shots. He was standing almost in the middle of the stage, and people could see that the dancers are kind of like avoiding the cameraman. And we were like, what is happening? Why is this dude up there? And so you spoiled the performance, at least half of it. And then one of my colleagues saw the live stream, and she told me it looks terrible. It was dark and shaky and too much moving shots. I mean, come on, we already have so much moving elements and you still want to have all those moving shots. And some of our friends even pointed out to us that they did it on purpose due to the conflict that we had. But whether it's a simple miscommunication or on purpose, the show didn't perform well. I mean, it didn't look too good. So I got home and sat in my studio, stared into nothing for a couple of hours. And as for the theme song and the MV, we thought it was going to be a big hit because everybody loves it. I mean, at least all the people that involved loved the song. And it was run by a big team of marketers. Moreover, there was a fancy-looking animated MV, done by 1010 Studio. So how can it be not a hit? But sadly, a few weeks after the release, even after the event, there were less than 10,000 views. So the entire thing left us with a big question mark and a big disappointment. I worked so hard at the expense of my well-being, but the final outcome was just so demoralizing. And true indeed, the progress were much more fulfilling than the final outcome. The friends we made along the way, the things that we learned together and discovered together, and the experience of witnessing our hard work and our ideas coming together, all these things may seem insignificant compared to the anticipated outcome. But somehow those small progress lived through these days. The final outcome didn't give us the glory we hoped for, but it was those small progress that helped us to move forward in life. So don't put too much weight on a particular outcome, but enjoy the process along the way. If you're producing an album, a music album for example, the final outcome always comes down to two things: the money you make and the response from the public. If the money and the response are good, great. But if not, too bad. It is that simple and direct. So instead of focusing so much on the final outcome, why don't you ask yourself what kind of progress you want to make in the process of making this album. And remember, set smaller progress on a monthly, weekly, or even daily basis, and reward yourself for every progress you make. Don't wait until the full album is done, then only you want to celebrate, or reach 1 million followers on social network, then only want to reward yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. And when you set those progress, try not to be too ambitious, like recording 5 songs in one go. That's too hard. Sometimes you may be able to do that, but most of the time, I don't know, based on my experience, I can only do 1 song per day. And sometimes you are just not in that condition to work so hard and so fast. So it's okay. Don't sweat when things don't go exactly as planned. You can ask any songwriters or music producers, they most probably have like 10 to 20 songs undone. And probably only like 5 to 6 of them are really out there. What about the rest of the songs? They will just progress, from which they learn things, from which they grow their craft. Not everything that you have started must be completed and end up out there commercially. So don't sweat when you have a couple of songs incomplete in your checklist. Again, the whole point here is to keep yourself motivated, confident, and happy, and make the process of making music more enjoyable. Instead of looking forward to the completion of the full album next year, look forward to the next small progress next week or next day, as well as the reward that comes together with it. I'm sure you'll be able to progress much faster like that. If your happiness always anchors on achieving exactly what you have planned, as well as the value, the merit of the final outcome, you probably have a lot more disappointment than happiness, or you will just lose heart halfway. Of course, I would say good luck or wish you all the best, for whatever that you pursue. But now I want to tell you this: acknowledge and celebrate every small progress that you make along the way, and reward yourself for every small check on your to-do list. Don't put the weight of your entire world on a particular outcome as well as its merit or value, because disappointment is a very difficult thing to deal with. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you learned something today. If you have similar stories or experience, you can share it in the comment down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.